Hey Joe, so great to see you. Thank you for speaking here at the Big Boys Toys in Las Vegas. I had no idea that you left New York during 9/11, right after 9/11, and then you showed up in Las Vegas on October 1st, which we had, those are two massive tragedies. So tell me about the transition and getting here.
Yes, I was actually, my last day working for American Express was 9/11 2001. I was on my way to World Financial Center. At the time, I just finished a tenure with American Express. I was involved, I was the managing director of their small business lending unit, and decided to leave American Express. Was on my way basically to the American Express offices in World Financial Center. When the first plane hit, I was getting out of the shower, and it was sort of, at first, everybody thought it was a joke. Some pilot just flew into the World Trade Center. My driver had picked me up. I was on my way down to the World's Financial Center, and the second plane hit. And I was listening, I'll never forget, I was listening to 1010 Wins on the radio, and it went from how ridiculous, who could have flown into the World Trade Center, and we were going to sort of look up and see what we could see. And then the second plane hit, which it was the most beautiful day, a September day in New York City, almost like a beautiful fall day here in Las Vegas. And we heard the second plane hit. 1010 Winds went nuts. We were under terrorist attack. This must be a terrorist attack. This is not an accident. And I get chills thinking about it right now. We ended up turning around, going down to Midtown where my attorney's office is, and sat in a conference room for the rest of the day, just watched. And I think the crushing moment was when the building started collapsing, because you never expected that. So I had friends at Cantor Fitzgerald, I had friends at Windows of the World, I had friends that worked. I lost close to 300 friends that day.
Oh,
So yeah, just the next day, I got a car through American Express, a rental car, drove back a 5 hour and 15 minute drive, drove back to Virginia. I was living in North Virginia, right outside of D.C. at the time, and my wife and my two kids and a kid on the way, and made it home in like 4 hours. Did like 100 miles an hour on the way home. There was nobody on the road. Yeah, I got home, and then so it was tough. It was tough. I was living in Virginia at the time and still working in New York. I'd left New York officially in '91, but then sold my company to American Express, and that's when I ended up working for American Express. But then transition 20 years later, I'm in 2017, well, actually 16 years later, I got appointed, came here to Vegas to take over the SBA District Director position, and got here at September 5th, 2017. And 3 weeks later, I get a phone call at 10 o'clock at night from FPS, Federal Protective Services, asking if I was at the concert, and because I was supposed to go to the concert. But I had gone to another concert the night before and stayed up too late, so I was tired, and I just went to bed. And they told me what was going on, and just the carnage that happened on October 1st here. So it's sort of all of a sudden just, I moved from New York to Vegas, to Virginia to Vegas, and then here I am, and there's another disaster that's man-made disaster type of situation. So yeah, to say the least, it was not the most the cheeriest moments of my life, but they really got me, especially going to public service like I did. It sort of almost reinforced why I was taking this position and why I've spent the last 4 years, because the next disaster is the pandemic that I've had to deal with the last 20 months. But I think all those things sort of reinforced in me the importance of life, the importance of really supporting business and supporting people. I mean, I think I talk to most of my counterparts, and I don't. The businesses are sort of intangibles to me. It's really the people that you're helping. At one point, the 500 phone calls and emails I was answering a day, because I wanted the people to know that we were going to do everything we could to help them with the different programs we were involved in, and so on and so forth. So the stimulus program. So yeah, that's sort of an encapsulation of three of the most impactful moments of my life. The last being COVID and it being 20 months long. At least the others were one day, and then you just recover. You try to recover. But yeah, to say the least, my now ex-wife said that I definitely had some PTSD from seeing what I saw in New York, And then I felt it. I had nightmares for weeks after October 1st. And I almost thank God that I was not there, because I don't know if, number one, would I have survived with all the people that had died and all the people that were injured, but also from the standpoint of just the idea of what happened again. So, but everybody experiences this, and we're survivors. That's what makes this country great, and what makes situations like this, where we are today, where people are responding to life with innovation and things that basically try to make everybody's lives better while we're trying to make a profit.
The one word that comes to mind is resilience, right?
Yes.
As entrepreneurs, as business owners, as people, I remember interviewing Sir Richard Branson, and he was defining business to me. And he said, "What is a business?" We like to, when we say business, it feels like it's outside, or we can't relate to that. But he says business is made up of people. So exactly what you're saying, it's about the people. And when you're seeing people come out of major tragedy, coming from hard economic times, this is what our country is built on.
Yes, absolutely. And as I said in the speech I just gave, business is people, people are business, and everything that happens in business is basically the end result of something going on in life. As I was explaining earlier, when COVID started, there were things that were going on in this world that had to make a complete pivot. Businesses had to make a complete pivot. Manufacturing companies, complete pivot. And why? Because there was a need. There was a change.
Mm-hmm.
There was a sea change in the way life was going. I've talked to so many companies that are innovative, access security measures.
Yeah.
People that are talking about having, online and universal cards that you basically, some people are afraid of it because, they're saying, okay, the government controls it. Well, maybe the private sector controls where you have the information. So now I don't have to take out my phone every day to show my vaccination card.
Yeah.
They can just look it up online. There's some things that are going to be accepted and really grow and become part of the new normal.
Right.
And there's certain things that may just be needed for this time and die in the vine when there's no more pandemics to deal with. So yes, resiliency was a perfect word.
Mm-hmm.
that I think as an American people, I think as people worldwide,
Yeah.
we are resilient. Human beings are resilient. We get through tough times because out of tough times we learn, we grow, we innovative, and we improve. And I'm hoping that's what I'm going to see in this future in 22 and beyond.
Just speaking with you earlier this year, actually last year, we were talking about how Ray and I had to pivot a bit with our media company. So we were doing online media training, virtual meeting skills. And you were so kind in supporting us. And then we teamed up with the SBA, the Nevada District, the SBDC, the Women's Business Center, and we just continue because of you. So because of this guy. So thank you for that.
Well, my job, whether I'm in the private sector or in my public sector position with the SBA, my job has always been as someone who is a facilitator, somebody who creates opportunities, somebody that understands when innovation is necessary and or required, in order to exist. So, for me, having great people like you and a business like yours to be able to help you, to give you that leg up or extend an opportunity to you, that's been part of my nature for the last 30 years I've been in either business, privately, or in the public sector. And that won't change. I mean, that's what I intend to do when I leave the SBA, is to go back into the private sector and still do the same thing. Be that person known as the facilitator, being that person to know as the innovative thinker that, is like a vacuum for all information and does everything I can to help everybody else.
Well, thank you so much for being here today, and we look forward to what the future brings for you, and also for your new wedding that's coming up. So
Yes.
Congratulations to you.
Thank you. Well, let's put it this way. I love Nevada. I'm glad I came here. I love the people I've met here, like yourself, you and your husband. And I feel I'm going to build some lifelong friendships, relationships, and opportunities for us to do things together. Because, that's the beauty of entrepreneurship. That's the beauty of capitalism. That's the beauty of this country, is that a rising tide lifts all boats. Well, I'm a very good oarsman, and I try to be very good at directing and helping people get to where they should be, want to be, and need to be. So thank you for the opportunity you always give me as well.
Thanks, Joe. All right, have a great time today.
Thank you.